For problem set number 2, I had number 7. Number 7 asks, if a, b, and c denote the solutions of the equation x cubed plus 5x squared plus 6x plus 2 equals 0, what is the value of 1 over a times b plus 1 over a times c plus 1 over b times c? So you start with your equation here. Now there's nothing in common between all these terms, so you can't pull a factor out. So what we have to do is synthetic division. The way you do synthetic division is you take this last term and you list out all the possible factors that could make this. So we have positive 2 here. So we can do 2 times 1 or negative 2 times negative 1. Now what you do is you pick one of these factors. So I'm going to pick negative 1 for this. And then you take the leading coefficient of each term, put it here. So 1, 5, 6, and 2. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add and multiply. So you take this first term and you just bring it down. Then you're going to multiply this one by negative 1, and you get negative 1. 5 plus negative 1 is 4. So negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. 6 plus negative 4 is 2. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and you get 0. The way you know your factor worked is if you got 0 for this last term. So since we had negative 1 in here, we know x plus 1 is a factor of this equation. Now what you do is you take these, and these are going to make up your new quadratic equation. So we'll have x squared plus 4x plus 2. Now obviously we can't factor this because nothing that multiplied together that equals 2 will equal 4 when you add it. So what we have to do is use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And the leading coefficient here is your a, the one here is b, and this one is c. So we'll have negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2 over 2 times 1. So now you just simplify this and you get negative 4 plus or minus square root of 16 minus 8 over 2, which is negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 8 over 2. Now what you can do is you can simplify your square root by pulling out 2 terms that multiply to that and one which has the square root. So for this one, I'm going to use the square root of 2 times the square root of 4, because 2 times 4 equals 8, and 4 has a square root over 2. So you get negative 4 plus or minus 2 root 2 over 2. Now you can simplify this even further. Make this negative 2, this is 1, and you get rid of that. So you get negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 2. So here your a is negative 2 plus the square root of 2, and your b is negative 2 minus the square root of 2. Now, we still have this term over here, so we can set that equal to 0 to get c equals negative 1. So here are your a, b, and c values. So now we can do the second part of this problem now that we have a, b, and c. So 1 over a times b, which is 2, negative 2 plus the square root of 2 times negative 2 minus square root of 2, plus 1 over a times c, which is 1 over negative 2 plus root 2 times negative 1, plus 1 over b times c, which is 1 over negative 2 minus root 2 times negative 1. So now you can just simplify this, and you get 1 over 4 minus 2 plus 1 over 2 minus root 2 plus 1 over 2 plus root 2. In order to find all these terms and add them together, you have to find a common denominator. So this one here simplifies to 1/2. So I'm just going to do each of these individually. So this is 1 over a times b. So we have 1/2, and we somehow have to get all three of these to have a common denominator. So the easiest route to take is just multiply all the denominators together. Now, what you have to remember is that whatever you multiply the bottom by, you must multiply the top by. So since we multiplied by 2 minus root 2 and 2 plus root 2 on the denominator, you must do that on the top. So this simplifies to 4 minus 2 over 2 times 4 minus 2, which equals 2 over 4. So then what you have to do is you have to do that the same with this one. So this one is 1 over a times c. So here you just have to multiply by 2 plus root 2 as well as the 2 from the 1/2. You have to multiply the same thing up here. So for the numerator, you get 4 plus 2 root 2 over 4, because all these denominators are going to equal the same thing. And then for 1 over b times c, you have already 1 over 2 plus root 2. And you multiply by 2 minus root 2 and 2. And you get 4 minus 2 root 2 over 4. So now we have to add all of these together. So what we have is 2 over 4 plus 4 plus 2 root 2 over 4 plus 4 minus 2 root 2 over 4. Now, luckily, these two cancel out, so we don't have to worry about that. So what we have is 2 plus 4, which is 10, and you get 10 over 4. And you can simplify this by dividing each term by 2 to get 5/2. So 1 over a times b plus 1 over a times c plus 1 over b times c equals 5/2.